go. All right. So good afternoon, everybody. This is Joe Mallory with Hylant, along with Kate.
Hello.
And Marilyn from the corporate office is joining us. Say hello, Marilyn.
Hello.
And we're going to be going through your 2017 open enrollment. Everybody is in listen-only mode, and if you do have questions, we'll get to those at the end. I would encourage you to use the chat or question function that's part of GoToWebinar. It allows us to organize questions so that we don't trip over everybody and stuff. We have a lot of things to go through today. We're going to start with an introduction of what's been going on at corporate when it comes to the benefit program. Obviously, we're making a few changes and moving in a different direction, so we want to cover those as well. So if you're looking on your computer screen, I'm going to make this bigger. View, full screen. Okay. So hopefully you all can see that. And a couple things about Hylant. We're working with Steve, Mike, Marilyn, folks at the corporate office there to move the benefit program in a different direction. Our contact information is there, so if you'd like to ask Kate or me any questions, feel free to reach out, especially if you have a couple nagging questions after the call. Feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to help. Either by email or phone, doesn't matter to us, we're love to talk to you. So when we initially engaged, we talked to Steve, Mike Wong, and Marilyn at corporate about the direction of the benefit program, and Hylant came on board because we have some unique skill sets. We've definitely dealt in the hospitality space with a number of different concepts. We have lots of experience when it comes to handling restaurants and the challenges, unique challenges that they entail. But the executive team really wanted to move in different directions. And so we've got a lot of things to hit you with today, and we know some of it's going to be new. And with things that are new, a lot of it comes uncertainty. We just had an amazing election that I don't know that anybody saw coming, so the benefit program is moving in a different direction as well. So the very first thing we want you to know is that the effective date, which used to be March 1st, will now be January 1st. And the reason why that's important is because it lines up our budgets as well as it lines up your taxes with the renewal of the plan. So around November time every year is when we'll be doing open enrollment. Specifically for this year, it means that open enrollment will begin next week, and we'll be talking more about that later on. We will be offering a new suite of benefits, and the benefits plans were looked at from top to bottom to really make sure they line up with what the company wants to do, what the kind of benefits the company wants for their employees. We wanted to make sure that there were similar benefit plans across the entire employee population. So no longer are we going to have hourly and management. There's one benefit plan that's out there for all employees and various options within the benefit plan. So it makes it a lot easier to administer the plan from the corporate perspective, as well as levels out how we do our budgets. Specifically on the health insurance, you're going to hear that we'll be moving in the direction of United Healthcare. And the idea from the executive team was that we have one network that was across all of our footprint and that meets the needs of all employees. So from a budget perspective, we had lots of different rate tiers. We had lots of different HMOs with HealthNet and Kaiser. All that's moving in under one national program for the United Healthcare Choice Plus. So that's a lot of change, and we know it's going to be challenging for you. The good news is that we've done a pretty good job of keeping everything affordable, and we have new plan offerings that are a bit different, so we'll be going over those in more detail. In addition, as the company looks to grow and do other things, we wanted to make sure that all the benefit plans line up with that strategy. When it comes to things like reviewing data and reviewing trends and projections, it's very difficult to do that when the company is fragmented across a number of different benefit structures. So when you have a national player like United Healthcare, it does a much better job of giving us the data we need to make good decisions for the benefit of everybody. Marilyn, anything to add at your end there? Did I miss anything? Maybe I muted you. No, you're good. Okay, so Marilyn might be away from her phone. We'll keep going. So today we're going to go over not only the benefit programs, we're going to go over the benefit guide as well as the process for the next couple of weeks. We're going to review the new benefit guide in just a second, and we're going to talk about how you need to deliver that to the staff as well as handle that when we wrap up. So just an overview right where we're at today. Your guides and forms are at the printers, and they will be delivered to the stores Friday as well as Monday. You will have materials in both English and Spanish, and enough for all your eligible employees. So when you get them, make sure that you distribute them to the eligible employees, folks. If you have any questions about who your eligible employees are, reach out to Marilyn and Nicole at corporate. From a high-level overview, the way we look at an eligible employee is that they have to be either A, in management, or B, working full-time over 130 hours a month over the past 12 months. Okay? So you might not have the data on that, all your employees, so feel free to reach out to Nicole and Marilyn to make sure that you have the right people. Once you distribute those to your eligible employees, they will have by the November 30th, they're going to give the forms back to you, the managers. One thing we ask that you do is make sure that your collection of forms, be it 5 forms, 10 forms, or whatever, all have the store numbers and email addresses on the forms. And some of the coverages that we'll talk about do require an email address. If none's available, put NA there so we know that we asked the question. You're going to take and send all the forms at one time to Nicole in the corporate office. Don't send them piecemeal. When we have 62 locations sending, piecemeal forms, that's very difficult to manage. So you're going to have one package that has everybody at one time. Send it to Nicole at corporate. Keep in mind that we are moving in different directions with new carriers. So delays in the form collection cause everybody to be delayed. So we would encourage you to make this a priority over the next week and a half. We know there's a holiday coming up. But for most locations, you're talking about an eligible employee base of 5, 10, maybe 15 employees at the most. And of course, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Nicole at corporate or Joe or Kate at Highland. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn our attention to the benefit guide. And this is a copy of the benefit guide that you will see when it comes to your store. For some reason, the graphics didn't come through, but you'll see more graphics. Oh, I'm at the end. That's why. There it is. I was like, hey, this went all the way to the end. There it is. Okay. That's page 1 of the benefit guide. On page 2, folks, you'll see that there's a lot of information right here. We try to put this right inside the form so that you know who your health insurance and dental and all that was with. At top is our information. We've set up a toll-free line just for T-Bird so that you guys can call in and get assistance with any questions you have. And as always, you have access to Joe or Kate to go over everything. As we work our way down, you'll see that there's a lot of different coverages in here, different than what you've seen in the past. This first coverage it's called Video Benefits Guide, and it's a Video Benefits Meeting website. You will find videos on there, and you can do this on your phone or on any smartphone, that give you overview of HSAs and high deductible health plans and dental insurance, as well as you'll find copies of the benefit guide here and benefit summaries. All are at this website right here. So make sure you alert your employees to this. This is a great resource for people that are needing a little bit more guidance. As you go down, you'll see that our other carriers, healthcare is going to be with United Healthcare. Our dental will remain with Assurant. We have new vision plans now with VSP, one of the largest in the country. Our life, disability, critical illness, and accident will all be with Mutual of Omaha. We've added on valuable identity theft protection with LifeLock. We've also added on the legal help with the Hyatt Legal Program. We did have some interest in pet insurance when we were talking with people, so we're going to put this in here and see how it goes. And then we also have the Employee Assistance Program, where employees can get help with their financial and or relationship needs or counseling needs. They can do that through the Mutual of Omaha Employee Assistance Program. Okay, so an overview of what we're doing for 2017 is that the medical is the big piece of this, right? So the current Kaiser and Health Net plans, all 8 of those plans will be replaced by the 4 plans we'll talk about through United Healthcare. All eligible employees will have the opportunity to enroll in any of the 4 plans. All of the United Healthcare medical plans are Choice Plus PPO plans, not HMOs. This gives you a lot more flexibility while accessing care, which means the plans provide out-of-network benefits. There's a national network of doctors, Choice Plus, so when you're traveling, you can look up, see if doctors are in the Choice Plus network where you're at, and you're fine. And it does mean that there are no referrals needed to see a specialist, nor do you declare who your family doctor is. On the dental plans, the dental side, we're going to keep those with Assurant. We did add a lower cost PPO plan, and that will replace the DHMO plan so that everybody has access to a large network of dentists. The vision program with Anthem, as we said, will be replaced by VSP. The basic life insurance that's currently with Reliance Standard will be replaced with Mutual of Omaha. And then the voluntary plans, a lot of folks did have some AFLAC programs, so we're going to replace those with some group programs that'll be much easier to understand and much more cost effective. It's important to note that you are paid 26 times, so that as of January 1st, payroll deductions will be taken over 26 pay periods per year instead of 24. And then over on the other side, this is open enrollment. So for those folks that are eligible, and for a lot of us, eligibility means that we're a full-time employee. With the Affordable Care Act, folks, it also means that we actually have to measure employees. So if you have variable hour employees like servers or hosts or bartenders, their rules for measurement means they have to be with T-Bird Restaurant Group for 12 months, and they have to average over 130 hours a month. So in every restaurant, there's usually a core group of about 10 or so employees with managers, and then there's 5 to 10 additional that have made the measurement period and are full-time. These annual elections that you make will stand until next November, and you'll be able to change then if you'd like. But if you do have a qualifying event, a marriage, a divorce, a birth, adoption, if there's a death in the family, or if there's a change in your spouse's employment or loss of coverage by a spouse, then you can make a change mid-year. Otherwise, changes that you make now, coverages that you elect now, will stand until the next open enrollment. So your dependents are eligible for coverage as well. Under medical, the plans go up to age 26, the same with dental, the same with vision, and then the voluntary plans do vary. So make sure you check the documents on what the specific eligibility is. Please keep in mind it's your responsibility to provide human resources with proof of your dependent's eligibility. If you don't provide the required documentation, your dependents won't be covered, and so make sure you take care of that. So on this page, we talk about the employee benefits that we have put on the website, Video Benefits Guy, and you'll see the URL down here will take you directly to the website and will show you all the videos as well as overviews of the medical plans, the dental plan summaries. Everything is there so that you can review those coverages off-site when we're not talking. Okay, so on page 6, these are your new health insurance benefits with United Healthcare. This is just a summary, folks. So what we've tried to do is give you everything you need to know about making a decision about what plan is right for you. The 4 plan offerings range from an HSA that's very low cost all the way up to a slightly more costly Choice Plus PPO, the 1328. And then it continues up to the 525 and the 474. Folks, it's important to point out that we tried our best to match the benefits that were there with Kaiser and Health Net. The HSA certainly is a new direction for us, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But when we look at, we'll start with the 474 plan. We kept copays to see the family doctor or the specialist at $15. The urgent care, the emergency room copays are $35 and $75. And then the prescription drug tiering is $10, $25, and $45. On this plan, if you go in the hospital, you have a $250 copay. The outpatient hospital copay is $0, and diagnostic MRIs and CAT scans are $0 as well. There is no deductible, and then the out-of-pocket maximum that you could have on this plan is $2,500. As we move down to the 525, you'll see that the copays click up a little bit. So it's $25 to see your doctors. It's $50 and $100 to go to the urgent care or the emergency room. You have the same prescription drug tiering. And then you have a $1,000 deductible. Once you meet that deductible, the insurance carrier plan pays 80%. You pay 20%. Your maximum out of pocket for everything is $3,000. On the 1328, this plan, again, we've changed the copays just a little bit. The specialist is up to $50. The urgent care is now $125, and the emergency room is $250. It has the same prescription copays. Hospital services, inpatient, outpatient, all of that is under the $3,000 deductible. And once you meet your deductible, you have a 30% cost share, and $5,000 is the maximum you can pay for covered service in a calendar year. The HSA is an entirely new direction for us, so we'll talk more about what that looks like. This plan is what's called a high deductible health plan, or an HDHP. The HDHP on this, or the high deductible on this plan, is $2,600 for an individual. After you meet that, the insurance carrier pays 90%. You pay 10%. Your individual maximum out of pocket is $3,600, and then it's double that for the family. The neat thing about this program is, with an HSA, you get to set aside money tax-free to use for your health care costs, and it does give us a very affordable place to have the insurance costs. One of the things that we went back and forth on many times was to make sure this was affordable for as many people as possible. So when you get your payroll deductions and your benefit guide and you're looking at the payroll deductions, you can see that if the HSA is something you'd rather not do, then to move up to the 1328 PPO is only $10 more. And then if you wanted a lower deductible, it's only $25 more. If you did want the best plan out there with no deductible, very low cost access care in the hospital, then it's a bit more as well. Let me check in with Marilyn, just take a second. Marilyn, are you on the call?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay, I've been talking every time you've asked me, and I had to pick up the phone. I couldn't do it on speakerphone for some reason. I want to make sure everybody knows that on Monday, the managing partners will get their list of their eligibles. Nicole will be sending that out. So you will know exactly who needs to get a packet and who needs to fill out an enrollment form, whether they're taking the insurance or not.
Yeah, Marilyn, thank you for saying that, because that's a great point, folks. Most of the folks on this call are proprietors or managers or JVPs, and it's important you realize that every year we have to report out to the IRS who is offered insurance. So the only way we can prove that is if you take the enrollment form and give it to those that are eligible and they sign off, yes, no, or whatever. So that creates a nice trail of, yes, we offered coverage to everybody in our store. Here's the piece of paper that they said they wanted it or they don't want it. If we don't do that correctly, the company faces fines. It's as simple as that. And across 62 restaurants, there's about 800 folks that are eligible. And so we know it's a big task, but at each store, there's usually around 10 to 15 people that are eligible. So we would encourage you, check the list when you get it. Make sure those people know that they've got to turn that form back in. All right, so we're going to move on here. We talked about the HSA as the newest plan here. And so on page 7, when you get your guide, you're going to see more information about it. First off, an HSA is two parts. There's a high deductible health plan, right here, the age 34, and there's a savings account. The savings account is the health savings account, and you must be enrolled in a high deductible health plan to have it. When you pay for your health insurance, you also have the option, when you're on the HSA, to set aside an additional amount to be used for healthcare costs. So this is illustrated here at the top of page 7. You can make up to $3,400 in a year in additional contributions to your HSA account, and if you're covered as a single, or up to $6,750 for you and your family. Your HSA is your account. It's portable. If you leave the company, that money is yours. T-Bird Restaurant Group does not have any access to your account outside of depositing whatever payroll deductions you want to put in that account on a monthly basis. The government determines what expenses you can use to pay for that. There is a short list here on page 7. We recommend that if you have questions about that, go to irs.gov and check their list of qualifying expenses. But you can also reach out to Hylant, and we'll be happy to run you through those or send you the list. Basically, it's long-term care, medical expenses, treatments not covered by insurance like dental care, medical equipment, anything that you see your doctor for. Things that don't qualify everybody will be things like that are considered very elective, like cosmetic surgery or teeth whitening, or household help babysitting or health club dues, food supplements that aren't prescribed by a doctor for a condition, hair transplants. All those things are things you can't use HSA dollars for. So we encourage you to check out the HSA. We have included a sample here of what it looks like with the HSA. I'm not going to take time now to go through it. We've got a lot of ground to cover, but I encourage you to look on page 8 and see what it looks like depending on what your situation is. For many people, an HSA might be a great idea. For some others, it might be a little bit more challenging. So make sure you study that and reach out if you have any questions. So on page 9, we're going to be talking about dental. I'm going to turn it over to Kate, and she's going to talk to you about dental, and then I'll pick back up on some of the other coverages.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kate, as Joe said. I'm looking forward to speaking with you all this afternoon. As Joe mentioned, we are staying with Assurant for our dental insurance. We did do an extensive review of the market and found the best value to stay with your current provider. This year, we are making a change to the base plan. We used to offer a dental HMO, and now replacing that with a full-on PPO. So now your employees will have full access to a network of providers on both plans. The premium plan is our more high-cost plan. You'll see your payroll deductions listed here at the bottom. And then our base plan has a lower payroll deduction. The premium PPO plan and the base plan both offer preventive services covered at 100%. So your cleanings twice a year, your x-rays, all of that's covered for free. The plans start to differ when you get into the different type 2, type 3 categories. A type 2 category is typically when you get a cavity filled, something like that. On the premium plan, the employee is going to pay 10% after their $25 deductible. And the base plan, they're going to pay 20% after their $50 deductible. Major services are the painful stuff, crowns, bridges, dentures, implants, things like that. And the employee is going to pay 40% on the premium plan and then 50% on the base plan. The premium plan does offer orthodontic coverage for children under the age of 19, where the base plan does not. So that is one difference in the two plans. Another big difference between the two plans is the annual benefit. The premium plan has a $1,500 annual benefit, where the base plan just has $1,000. So you'll see the difference in cost here at the bottom once again. The deductibles and and annual benefits do reset January 1st. So as of January 1st, the employees will have a full annual benefit to use throughout the year, and then 1/1/18, these maximums will reset. The next benefit we're going to run through is the vision benefit through VSP. VSP has a very large network in California, a very large national network as well. They have a very large private physician network as well as some retail chains that you'll see here at the bottom, Costco, VisionWorks, Cohen's, etc. The VSP plan that you all have utilizes the Choice Network. You'll see that plan name here. The Choice is the name of the network that you'll be utilizing. You have copays for your office visits, eye exams, frames, lenses. There is an allowance for contact lenses as well, but employees will need to decide if they want to get the contact lenses or glasses. They can only do one or the other. If you need to research providers, go to vsp.com, and again, you'll research that Choice Network. The life insurance is now provided through Mutual of Omaha. One good news that you guys can relate to your employees this year is that all full-time employees will have a free life insurance benefit available to them. You'll see here that it's a Class 1 benefit or a Class 2. Management only has a $25,000 flat life insurance benefit, where Class 2 employees, all other full-time employees, would have a $10,000 benefit. So that is new this year and available to all full-time employees. If employees want to purchase additional life insurance that they pay for on their own, we call that voluntary life insurance. This benefit is age-rated. You'll see the rate chart on the next page that we'll go over. But employees are able to buy $10,000 increments of coverage up until 5 times their annual salary. The guaranteed issue amount is $60,000, and what that means is the carrier does not care what kind of health conditions you have going on. They will insure you up to $60,000, no questions asked. So up to $60,000, no questions asked. That is a one-time offer. If employees decide to enroll at a later date, they will have to go through some underwriting guidelines. For open enrollment, though, they can get that $60,000 without any questions asked. Employees can purchase coverage for their spouse and their children. They do have to enroll in coverage themselves to buy it for their dependents, but there's some coverage there for them too. On this next page, you'll see the rate chart. When we look at the enrollment form, you're going to see a slot that asks for the payroll deduction. And I'm going to teach you really quickly how to read this chart. I know it's a little confusing. But if I'm between the age bracket of 45 and 49, and I want to purchase the full $60,000 benefit, my payroll deduction is $7.56. So you just want to find the corresponding box and write that on your enrollment form. The spouse and the employees are the same election. So if the spouse is younger than the employee, they'll still fall under the employee's age bracket. And then for children, it's just $2 a month to have $10,000 of coverage, regardless of the number of children that you have. The next benefit we're going to run through is the disability coverage. We are offering both short-term and long-term disability coverage this year through Mutual of Omaha. As an overview, disability is insurance for your paycheck. So if employees or yourselves are unable to work due to an off-the-job injury or become very ill for a long period of time and you can't come to work and collect your paycheck, this is going to supplement your income while you're home recovering from that. Short-term disability is going to cover 30% of your weekly earnings. And we have it at 30% because the state of California offers a state-run disability program. So this, having a 30% benefit, actually makes your pre-disability income almost whole. The benefit maximum is $1,000 per week, and it would start paying you after a 7-calendar-day accident or illness waiting period. The benefit would last up to 52 weeks if your doctor deems you unable to work during that entire time. The disability is rated based on income. And so as an example, if my income is $1,500 a week, I'm getting a benefit from the state of California of $825 a week. And then Mutual of Omaha would pay me $450 a week. So you can see that almost equals the full $1,500 I was earning before I was disabled. And then my payroll deduction would be $23.47 every 2 weeks. Long-term disability would pick up after short-term disability leaves off. So you'll see your elimination period is 360 days, almost an entire year. This would cover 60% of monthly earnings and would cover you until your normal retirement age. So looking at this rate chart, if I make $5,000 a month, my benefit would be $3,000 a month. And if I'm in the 45 to 49 category, I'm $23.08 every 2 weeks for my payroll deduction. So Joe's going to run through the critical illness and some other worksite benefits we offer, and then I will wrap up running through the enrollment form.
All right, folks, so on the voluntary critical illness, this is through Mutual of Omaha, and what this plan does is pays you a benefit if you have a condition. So if you have some sort of heart attack or stroke or something like that, this benefit responds and pays you whatever the percentage of. So the benefit is a $10,000 benefit. So if you see here, there's heart attack, heart transplant, stroke, then if you had signed up for this, you would receive a $10,000 benefit. The good news about this program is that it does help offset those high costs of getting care during a very challenging time. It has a benefit that pays if there's cancer or a carcinoma in situ, which is skin cancer. And we've found that this benefit is really one of the most affordable ways to help out when there's this type of illness. You can see that if I look for myself, it would cost $5.77 per payroll for me to get a $10,000 benefit, which we feel is a very good deal when it comes to these types of policies. Coverage does vary based upon your age, as you see there. So if you adding on your spouse, just double it, and your children are covered as well. Voluntary accident coverage is available to employees to help cover those things that injuries and hospitalizations that occur due to some sort of injury. You can see that there's a benefit that gets paid out for things like emergency room, urgent care center, your initial physician office visit, as well as if you get admitted to the hospital and have a daily benefit. So if you broke your leg and you were admitted to the hospital, then there's $1,000 paid initially plus $200 per day, plus there's a schedule of benefit for the fracture itself. So when it comes to these kinds of policies, we like to see that they're affordable enough so that people can have them, and at $6 a paycheck, or about $12 a month, we feel that that's a pretty good benefit. Make sure you check that out. You'll check your box when it says accident or critical illness, and we'll go from there. So LifeLock, identity theft protection, is available to employees. The LifeLock program has 2 levels of coverage. The first benefit level is Benefit Elite and then Advantage. The Advantage program gives you additional benefits for the low cost of about $7.84 a paycheck, and you can cover your spouse and your kids and your family as well. What this does, it provides enhanced identity theft protection, including notifications about credit fraud as well as account tampering. One of the last coverages we'll talk about is the Hyatt Legal Protection. And we talked a little bit about this in the new coverages. The Met Law coverage covers things like estate planning, family law, immigration assistance, real estate, document preparation for affidavits, deeds, as well as traffic offenses. We feel this is a good benefit at a $10 price point per paycheck because it gives you access to an attorney where you're not going to be faced with such high legal bills that you're unwilling to talk to an attorney. So make sure you check out the Hyatt Legal Protection. And lastly, on page 19, we're talking about the nationwide pet insurance. So this is obviously for those folks who want to have coverage for their pet, their cat, or their dog. The coverages start at about $20 a month and go up from there. When you go to Nationwide, you call them here, and they ask you a couple questions about your pet and their breed and their age, and then they give you a quote for it, and then you can have that cost payroll redirected if you determine that you want to go down that path. Vet bills are some of those things that can come at you just like medical bills where you're not expecting them. So the Nationwide Pet Insurance Program is a great way to offset those costs. The Employee Assistance Program is a free benefit for you, your spouse, and any eligible dependents. It's a totally confidential service that's there for you when there's problems going on, relationship issues. If you have financial problems, then you can call and chat with a counselor over the phone to give you assistance through those kinds of things. After January 1st, the program will be live. It's for all those employees that are full-time and eligible. So make sure you check that out. There's no additional cost for the Employee Assistance Program. After page 20, folks, the rest of this book are required notices that HHS as well as the IRS wants us to be in there. So right now I'm going to turn it back over to Kate, and we're going to talk about the employee enrollment form, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, so you guys can all see the enrollment form. The items highlighted in yellow are a must-have on these enrollment forms. So the employee name, first and last, social, date of birth, their address, gender, home phone, all that good stuff. Real important that we get the email address. The effective date of coverage will be January 1st, 2017 for all. Down here under employee work information, we do need that location code. That's very important that we get that. If you all know what your location code is, we need that to relate to the different carriers, or store number, however you refer to it. A full-time employment date is important. If you guys don't have that information, I'm sure that we can get that for you. And then earnings will need to be completed if anyone is signing up for the disability program. If they're not signing up for one of the disability programs, it does not need to be completed. The first box here goes over the life insurance. It's already checked yes, since everybody receives that life insurance benefit for free. It is employer paid. And then as the employee goes down the form, they're simply just going to check yes and no for the different benefits that they'd like to get. If it's employee only, they would check that box. If they're adding independence, they would check the appropriate box. If an employee is waiving the medical altogether, that's perfectly fine. We just want them to tell us why they are waiving the coverage. We have to keep that for reporting reasons. And they can just check that box, sign, and date right here. This is only for waiving. There's a different spot for employees to sign that are enrolling in the medical coverage. Second page, at the very top, if employees are enrolling in the high deductible health plan and also want to utilize the HSA, they're going to check yes, and then let us know what they would like their contribution to be per paycheck. As Joe went over, that's completely voluntary. They can do $50 a paycheck, $10 a paycheck, or none if they choose. And then they can just go down the rest of the form and check yes and no for everything that they want. You will see some benefits, the rate charts that we just went over, where employees will need to write in the payroll deduction of the benefit that they're electing. On the last page, it's really important that we get beneficiary information from everybody. So even if an employee takes nothing else, again, they get that free life insurance benefit, and we're going to want to know who their beneficiary is. And if they're covering independence, they can list that here. It's important to have the first and last name, the social, gender, and date of birth. We need all that information. And then finally, they'll just sign and date. Yes, ma'am.
What happens if they don't select a beneficiary? You want to tell them what happens if they don't select one and something happens?
It goes to Maryland. If it doesn't have a beneficiary, it'll get held up in probate at the time of their death if one is never elected. So they would want to list somebody, at least that's over the age of 18. Hold on.
Yeah, the life insurance benefit, folks, if they don't put a beneficiary, it goes to the estate, and it would go to pay, you know, however the estate determines that estate needs to be handled. It's very important they list a beneficiary there because life insurance proceeds are a tax-free benefit to the beneficiary. So if there's final arrangements that need to be made, that's when that life insurance benefit becomes so important. So we'll really push to make sure everybody puts somebody down. Their nearest living relative is good, but it is their choice what they put there.
And it's better to put someone that's of 18 years or older. When they're a minor, things get held up and it doesn't get paid out as easily. And they can also list a contingent beneficiary. So they may have a primary and then have some other family members that they want it to go to in case you know, something happens to the primary beneficiary in the meantime. That is all we have to go over. Joe, were there any questions that we wanted to address?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and see what questions we've got here. All right, so there is a situation where an employee is saying, hey, I'm currently with Kaiser and I'm scheduled to deliver in February. What I would say is to reach out to our office and discuss who your providers are. With them, you can tell them you're going to have United Healthcare as well, but there's some specific information we would want to chat with you about. The next question is for the vision plan, are frames included in the $130 allowance or just the lenses? The benefit includes both frames and lenses. And then the last question was, are we still able to have Kaiser for the doctor? And what you'll find, folks, is that you're going to have to check whether or not your doctors are in the Choice Plus PPO network with United Healthcare. Effective January 1st, that's the direction we're going. The current life insurance coverage that you have, this is the next question. It does not transfer over. We're moving the entire group from Reliance Standard over to Mutual of Omaha. So the rates and the benefits are all as good or better that we had with Reliance Standard. So you'll have to sign up for new life insurance. So one of the last questions is on the pay periods. The payroll frequency question is the way most companies handle it, and to change the accounting so that some weeks you don't have a payroll deduction for benefits doesn't make any sense. So it was in best interest of the company for accounting purposes to level everything out so that every payroll, there's a payroll deduction for whatever benefits that you've elected. Marilyn, are you on the call?
Yep, I'm here.
There is a question about retirement plan option, and I know that we have not talked about that from our standpoint. The question is there a retirement plan option? So is there any answer for that now, or?
No, I think we'd have to talk about it. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So for the folks that are asking that question, reach out to Marilyn or Nicole, and we'll go from there. All right. So Marilyn, anything else? Another question that popped up is that who's going to replace Kaiser, and that would be United Healthcare. Marilyn, any questions or comments that you're seeing?
No, we just really appreciate, we know we had a compressed time to do this by changing the date to 1/1, and Joe and Kate and the team at Highlands have been really helpful with us. We're going to get the information out, and you're going to be able to have that in 2 weeks to review it. Just make sure that if you have any questions that you go to the Highland portal to see if they can answer your questions first. If not, you're welcome to reach out. They have a help desk set up. And Joe, the person that will be helping on that help desk is also bilingual, right?
Yes.
So anybody in your employees that have questions can call, or they can call Nicole, or they can reach out to me. So we look forward to getting through this and getting everybody set up and having some great benefits for next year.
Very good. Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and end the call. As always, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to us. Everybody have a great holiday. Thanks now.
Yeah.
All right.